Is Elmer T Lee better than Blantons? We're about to find out. Let's get right on into it. What's going on, everybody? Nathan here with the Everyday Drinker, bringing you guys episode number 2 of Sample Battles. Now, today on the chopping block, we have a sample sent to us from Kurt over at SLB Basement Bourbon Bar. He sent us a sample of Elmer T Lee. Now, I have 3 other products from Buffalo Trace that I'm going to be putting that bottle up to the test against. We have Blanton sitting at 93 proof, also at mash bill number 2, which is the Elmer T Lee's mash bill, which sits at 90 proof. We also have Eagle Rare 10 year, which is a 90 proof. And then I'm putting that up against a Buffalo Trace single barrel, which sits at 90 proof. Now, before we get into the spinny doo-rah of everything, we are on the race to 1,000 subscribers. We just hit 900. We're sitting right at that 902, 905 subscriber mark. And I would absolutely love to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of September. So make sure you guys hit that like button, comment, and subscribe if you're new, because that 1,000 subscriber giveaway is coming faster than you know. But without further ado, let's get to spinning. And one more for good measure. All right, you guys know the deal. We're going to go left to right and then right to left. Let's start over here. Okay, a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of caramel. Very, very soft. It's got a light oak. I'm smelling a little bit of like a fresh baked bread. Maybe a slight raisin, a little bit of a dark fruit, maybe a little cherry. You're going to get a lot of cherry on Buffalo Trace products for sure, though. And this smells really good, though. Maybe like a rye bread. But let's get into the palate. Very light. Very, very light. I'm getting like a soft milk chocolate. I'm turning into a drier like peanut note. There's a cooling effect. There's a little mintiness going on. But then after that, it just tails off. The finish is very short. Obviously, all of these are going to be under 95 proof. The Blantons is the highest at 93. But this one right here, it's not drinking to its potential, I don't think. Yeah, I mean, I'm getting a slight musty oakness. There's a touch of chocolate. There's a little bit of peanut, a little cherry. I'm getting the bread on the palate. But as you guys know, when we go back through these open up like crazy, like you wouldn't believe. So we're going to put this boy back on there and move on to glass number 2. This one already opened up a little bit more than glass number 1. I'm getting a nice, like, earthy, there's a nice grass note. There's a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of cherry. Finding a little bit of, like, an orange. A slight cinnamon. There's a little bit of, like, a flat soda effect going on in there. This is really, really nice smelling, but let's get into the palate. There's a little bit of more of a burn than the first one, but the flavors are there. There's a little orange, a little bit of lemon. I'm getting a little bit more oak on this guy. It's a darker vanilla, not a light, but it's also, the finish is also short as well. There's nothing that's long lasting on the finish. It's a very light mouthfeel. Maybe a touch of like a dark chocolate, but let's move on to glass number 3. Glass 3, there's more of like a fresh broken oak branch. Smelling a little bit more of like an earthy grassiness. Maybe a touch of like a molassesy dark sugar. Dark brown sugar, that is. Dark cherry. Right there on that nose, there's a dark cherry. Oh, for sure, dark cherry. There's a lot of cherry and vanilla in that. A little bit better on the mouthfeel. Nothing too crazy. There's a little bit more on this. On this one, there's a touch more oak. It's like stepping up an oak process. There's a little bit in that one, a little bit more in this one. This one here has got a touch more than the second. There's this molassesy cherry note in there, a little bit maybe of like a cinnamon clove. There's a little bit more spice in this. As you guys should know, the mash bill 2 of the Buffalo Trace line is a higher rye. We don't know the percentages, but everybody thinks that it's right around that 15%, I'm pretty sure. But if this is a mash bill 2, I'm definitely getting a little bit more of a spice. There's a little bit of like a residual sugar going on. But all 3 of these so far have been pretty light on the palate. Nothing's too substantially sticking out. And that's kind of surprising to me. So let's move on to glass 4 here. Last four, I'm getting a touch more orange, just a touch of cherry. I'm getting almost like a little like a pine needle aspect to it. There's a little bit more like that fresh baked bread. That is tough for me to get out. I don't know why. Definitely a little bit more brown sugar. A cough syrup aspect to it as well with that cherry. Maybe like a cherry vanilla Coke going on. Let's get into the palate. This guy here is a little bit more viscous. Has a little bit more going on to it. There's this beautiful oak presence. It's not as strong as Glass 3, but it's a very nice light oak. It covers the tongue. And it dries it out a little bit more than the other three. There's a beautiful orange. There's a beautiful vanilla. There's a touch of like a peach, maybe a nectarine, not quite sure. There's that sweeter fruit in there. And then everything just tails off. So I'm going to let these open up a little bit more. I'm going to go clean my palate, and we're going to go do round 2. All right, guys, palate is cleansed. Let's do a quick nose and a quick palate to see if any of these stand out above the rest. So let's start on our right here with glass number 4. I'm getting a lot more, okay, there's a lot more bread that's opened up in this. There's a beautiful bread note, like a beautiful fresh baked bread, like I said on the last go round. But it is so prevalent. It's like it just came out of the oven. There's a little cinnamon, but then there's a touch of vanilla in there with a little bit of like a cherry like orange. Smells really good. Let's get into the palate. Oh yeah, there's a lot of bread. There's a beautiful like honeyness. There's a sweetness going on. There's a lot of that orange comes through on the palate. There's a touch of like maybe a milk chocolate. But then that oak presence is so subtle in there. It's the nicest oak presence out of these 4 that I can get out of. Glass number 3. Such a strong vanilla. There's a touch of orange. Getting a touch of honey in there now too as well. Like a nice dark honey, like fresh right from the beehive. A little bit of brown sugar. Let's get into the palate. There's a honeyness that goes on in the palate, but the finish is not as pleasant as the 4th glass. So at the moment, glass 4 is in the lead. Let's move on to glass 2. Okay, there's that orange is super prevalent. There's a lot of citrus in this. Like that cherry cola is coming through as well. It smells very nice. Let's get into the palate. The stronger vanilla presence. Not as much citrus on the palate. There's a touch of that honey as well. A little soft oak. Oak definitely tampered down a little bit from the first go round. That's easily in second place. To glass number 1. Oh, wow. I don't know why, but off the nose, the first thing I had gotten was baby powder, and I don't know why. That like powdery, like chalkiness, but then that goes away, and there's a beautiful like orange vanilla behind it, like a creamsicle almost maybe. That smells really, once you get past that baby powder, it opens up into this beautiful orange vanilla, like citrus nose. That's really, really nice. Let's get into the palate. Wow. That's a little bit more complex now that it's opened up. There's the, like, not oak. I'm getting more pine needles on the palate, whereas I believe it was this glass that I got a decent amount of pine on the nose. It opens up onto this spicy pine needle palate, and it's very, very pleasant. But I think it's going to have to go to second place because this moved on to third place. So let's go real quick back and forth. The nose is nicer, actually, than this one. This one is a little bit darker. This one's a little bit more lighter and friendlier. Let's get into the palate real quick. You know what? That's number 1. That's number 4. Number 2. We have our lineup, and we're about to see who won. Glass number 4. Let's see who came in 4th place. 4th place goes to Buffalo Trace. 3rd place. Oh, Elmer T Lee came in 3rd place. It was right there. I thought it was going to be 1st place, but then these other 2 opened up a little bit more than I thought they would. So let's find out what came in 2nd place. 2nd place goes to Eagle Rare, which means our winner goes to Blantons. Now, am I surprised? No and yes, because all of these are super, super similar. Granted, 2 of those are Buffalo Trace's mash bill number 2, and 2 of those are Buffalo Trace mash bill number 1. They're all in that 90 to 93 proof, nothing too crazy. The oldest out of these 4 goes to Eagle Rare at 10 years, whereas Blanton's is probably on that 6 to 7. Elmer T Lee doesn't have an age statement, and Buffalo Trace is most likely right around that 4 to 5 year. Might be pushing 6, but I'm going to say that the extra 3 proof that goes to the Blantons gave it that edge and came out on top. Am I 100% sure on that? No. But granted, Blanton's is a single barrel, so every single bottle is going to be a little bit different. Now, if I used that bottle up there, it might not have came out in first place. But at the end of the day, Blanton's came out on first and is moving to the finals. Kurt, I can't thank you enough for this sample of Elmer T Lee. It is a fantastic bourbon, but it didn't end up winning this battle. But until next time, guys, this has been Nathan with the Everyday Drinker. Cheers.